you for watching the forum. I am your host, Ashley Tate, here with my co-host, Christy Largent, and we are speaking to Patty Plumb. She is the director for the International Garden of Hope, Providence International Garden of Hope.
Right.
That is a mouthful.
It is, and it's far-reaching. It is.
Yeah,
yes.
so absolutely, it's international. So tell us a little bit about what it actually is.
Right. Providence International came about in 2000, about 16 years ago, and it has been able to reach about 14 different countries, Uganda, Kenya, Bangladesh, being able to bring solutions to a poverty zone where people were dying of starvation, and then they bring in the elements of low drought condition solutions. So they have a little bit of water, and then they use fish, tilapia, to eat the algae, and then what's the waste of the fish feeds the plants, and it just goes through this whole cycle. Absolutely revolutionary. So when this local area, Redding, with our drought conditions here, found out what we were doing worldwide, they said, why can't we do something like that with the poverty here in Redding? So just about 3 or 4 years ago, we started targeting Redding, and it has been phenomenal what's happened. So along with the gardening and just the whole food chain, we brought it here, and it's expanding. It's making a huge difference in the lives of people.
So where would you see these gardens in Redding? Where would you see them in Redding?
The one that we've established just a few years ago is actually on Railroad Avenue. So it's about 17 acres, and you'll see it kind of goes up to the hill.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, where you saw the sign, and then you can see some of the warehouses.
Oh, I wondered what that was.
Right.
Oh, it's like, so on Railroad Avenue between Placer and, like, if you were going down to Buenaventura, that back road.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you'll see up on the right there is this beautiful property.
Right.
Oh,
There's a farmhouse, and we're actually living in the farm. My husband and I, Ron Plumb, and myself, we're living in the farmhouse, and we also have a house up on the hill that's used for transitional housing for young youth, young men coming out of foster care. That's the other venue, because as you know, foster care, we've been involved with it in group home for over 30 years, and our hearts were captured by these orphans basically years ago, and then crossing over to juvenile, we call them little criminals that we love affectionately, we love them so much. But when they make the decision that cause them to be incarcerated, then we want to give them opportunity, and that's what we've done. We have a home there for young men, and then we have a ladies' home in another location, and it's from 18 to 21. It's called AB12. It's just been new funding this past year. And so we also give them a skill set. They start gardening, they start taking care of our 130 chickens. I mean, it is just remarkable, because what happens when your brain is immature, you think only about yourself.
Absolutely.
And so the garden piece has allowed us to show and match the value of the brain and caring for the brain. And so we've been involved with Teen Challenge and life controlling addictions for several years. But when we can help people manage their own brain, so we take them out in the garden first thing in the morning, we show them, okay, what does this need first thing in the morning? And all the plants are like this because they are dehydrated.
Right.
The same thing with our brain. 70% of our brain is water. The other 30% is the fat. It's the omega fats.
Right.
So you need to hydrate first thing in the morning. And so even when we go, like my husband right now is over at Juvenile Hall this morning, he'll take the young people out to the garden, and they're all saying, oh, they're so thirsty. Right, have you had water this morning for your own brain? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I am thirsty, especially in this heat. And so it gives them an opportunity to see that if they can care well for plants, then they can care well for themselves.
So making that connection.
Right.
Wow.
It's really fun.
Way to do that.
So what are you growing?
Oh my goodness. All kinds of, fruits and vegetables, of course tomatoes, but the kids over in Juvenile Hall right now, they're all excited about salsa. So they want everything that goes into salsa, of course.
Right.
And
salsa garden.
Right. And as you can imagine, the tomatoes, they start to take off. We have all different kinds. And I'll just never forget the story about this one young lady who came out, and we had planted the tomatoes we have garden boxes. Over on our property, we have the traditional rows and everything of the gardening. We have 3 different plots. But at the Juvenile Hall, we have more garden boxes. And there's like 75 of them. I mean, it's just massive what's happening there. And so we're out there planting the tomato plants, but they are immature. They're not ready to bear fruit. And so she started learning that the same thing applies to young people. And so because they don't have their tomato baskets that they can feel strong enough to support the fruit, so we say, okay, now we have to go out and just pick off all the flowers. And so she went over to all the tomato plants and said, too young for babies. Too young for babies.
What a good message.
So what they're learning as far as being mature and being able to handle the responsibility even of young babies, they need to have their self and their roots down deep. And they need to have a tomato basket around them to support, So just little life lessons that we're teaching them that has been so fun because they catch it. They understand the value. I'll ask them, what are the 4 most important things that a garden needs? And they'll say, well, water, oxygen, sunshine, and soil, nutrients. I said, you're absolutely right. What are the 4 things that we need? Isn't that kind of a match that we need those as well? And this one young man who came into our program, who actually had a lot of brain imbalances to where he wasn't sleeping at night, he told me, they need sleep too, we need rest. I said, you're absolutely right, because if the brain doesn't have the REM sleep, then it can't make good decisions. And the same thing happens with plants. They'll rest at night, the photosynthesis will stop because of the sunshine going dark, and they'll have kind of a rest time. Some plants still do grow and produce things at night, but the plants and the brain are a remarkable match. And just like that movie with Sandra Bullock, 28 Days. Did you ever see the movie 28 Days with Sandra Bullock?
I saw that.
It's all about going into a recovery program. At the very end of the movie, if they graduated, each one would get a plant to care for. And that would help them get out of themselves and think about somebody else or something else to care for. And it causes their brain to go into a more mature place so they can solve problems rather than just continuing to use addictions.
So how do people get into your program?
Well, it's wonderful right now because this is coming on to our harvest season. So volunteers, it's wide open. So people can just show up at the property. They can call Providence Garden of Hope, which is 215-1032, and set up an appointment time to maybe take a tour of the grounds, and then they can also be involved with harvesting. The fun thing is now that we are actually connected with Martin Luther King Park, and so on Sunday evenings from 5:30 to 7:30, starting in July, we're going to be providing fruits and vegetables like a little farmer's market.
Oh, good.
And the kids that are there in their summer program, they can use the bonus bucks to buy fruits and vegetables to take home to their family. So it's very motivating.
Now, are the kids going to be the ones selling at the farmers market?
Yes, they are. They're going to
That'll be fantastic.
The older kids. Yeah,
yes,
exactly.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's such a great idea. I think in so many ways that gives kids just the work ethic.
Right.
It gives them self-esteem that they can do something. They grew something, and now they see it going from garden to table.
Exactly.
I mean, it's a very innovative program.
You're so right, because so many kids just think that food comes out of a window.
Yeah, no, I know.
They
or
drive
from the
up.
store.
Right.
Yeah.
I'll take extra fries with
That's
that.
right. That's right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, especially, yes, where the people coming into your program probably didn't have 3 squares a day growing up, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, who has that anymore? But
Right.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's really tough. So, how did you get connected with the juvenile hall program? And I think, do you also do like older adults as well?
We do, exactly.
Okay, so tell us a little bit about that too.
Well, the great thing is that the property itself is also available for people to work off hours if they have county hours that they have to work off. There's a safe place that they can do that well and log their hours in, so that's excellent. A grant was just approved a couple months ago for us to cross over to juvenile hall. It's called the GROW Project, and so that has been wonderfully funded, and the bridge of being able to get them out in the sunshine and get some oxygen to them first of all, rather than just watching another movie. These kids can see that they're really making a contribution, and then the light goes on. They want to continue being a contributor rather than a parasite. They don't want to live where they're so dependent. They want to do something to offer something important. So,
how long has your program been, and how long has it been around?
16 years.
16 years, and this specific program in Reading?
Right. About 4 years.
4 years. Okay, I was like,
right.
16, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
4 years. 4 years.
And we were just talking about Bud Hancock, Robert Lincoln Hancock, who's been in the area for decades, and he just make a difference every time he turns around.
This is a Bud Hancock project.
Right. It is. It is.
A Bud Hancock project. Thank you, Bud.
Yeah.
He is a very generous man and gives to the community extensively.
He does.
And this is one of his brainchilds.
Right. It is. And he is so good about linking arms with other organizations that all complement one another, and that's what he does so well.
So how did you make the transition? Are you is the Garden of Hope still going internationally, or is it all poured out in Reading?
It's still going, and it's just completely funded internationally, and just making huge success stories in every country that we're involved with there. So it's presenting a great model even for us here locally. If there were an EMP strike or something that cut the electricity off, we're providing a community with tiny homes and little victory gardens around these homes. Down on I-5, just off of Knighton Road. You'll see that area off to the right. It's called Riverland Park.
Yes.
About 50 acres. That's where we're going to be heading, and everything from railroad's going to be moving down there within this year.
That's
this
fantastic.
year?
It is, yeah.
Oh, wow. 50 acres.
Yes. And they have donated greenhouses 30 by 100 feet long and then all kinds of sustainable garden, the aquaculture, everything with the fish.
So how did that come about, that project?
That's a Bud Hancock thing. It's been going on this past year prior to our coming to this organization. He just got favored with the community because they saw the need for at-risk youth being able to be targeted and provide a platform, and even families as well that are in poverty here, just give them something that they can contribute.
And where is it located again?
If you take I-5 South and you take the Knighton Road exit where the truck stop is, but you go off to the right and you'll take Riverland Drive just down about a mile.
There's quite a few
there's
trailer
trees,
parks and whatever down in that area, but then it's right on the river.
It is.
So
it's fabulous. So the soil is excellent.
It's amazing soil, and then river trail walking and also bike riding trail as well.
One quick question, because I know you probably have to wrap up soon, but can you tell us like a success story of someone coming through your program and then graduating out of it?
Yes.
Okay, really quick, because I want to hear kind of what the
Well, a young gal,
is.
I won't say her name, but come in and had a lot of stress and trying to solve problems in her life, and rather than doing problem solving, she would go under a lot of stress and start cutting. And so she just graduated high school last week. She is 20, so it's a little bit of delay. And so just being able to see that she has the power to be able to do something. We do a lot of things like, making soaps and the vegetables, but her even changing her diet and understanding the power in between her ears of her thinking clearly, and then adding in nutrition, water, just simple things that her brain can start operating better. It gives her hope rather than discouragement.
Right. And now she's a graduate instead of another sad story.
Exactly.
That's right.
It's remarkable.
So
just
Thank
last
you,
week.
Patty. Patty Plumb. It's called the Providence International Garden of Hope.
Right.
And the best way to get information on it is where?
Well, you can go to our Facebook page. It's actually Garden of Hope, and there's a lot of links there. It'll show you internationally, but then locally, which you can do to hook up. So it's Garden of Hope at the Facebook page.
Okay,
Great.
good. Garden of Hope on Facebook. So, well, gosh, what a great start to our show. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, Christy.
Longtime
Really enjoyed
Reading
it.
resident, Patty Plumb. A lot of people know you. Thanks for watching, and we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be back for the second half of our show as Ashley Tay and myself, Christy Largent, look at ways that people are engaging in our local community.
Hi, and we are back with the North State Producers Network. And we are speaking with co-owner Valerie Miller, and she is from the Orland Farmstead Creamery.
Right.
All right. I hate to get this stuff wrong. So it's great I want you to explain how all this works, because North State Producers Network is actually just a subset of the Orland Creamery, correct?
Right. Orland Farmstead Creamery applied for a grant through USDA. And we were awarded a $100,000 grant through the Farmers Market Promotional Program.
Wow.
So what that is the grant is in order to get local produce or products, locally made and grown products, direct to consumer.
Yeah.
So instead of going to the farmer's market on Saturday, you can order your groceries online and have them delivered to your home.
Wow.
Or office or community pickup location.
Right.
Okay.
Right. What gave you that idea to morph into that, to even apply for that grant?
Right.
Well, we sell our product through two similar markets in the Bay Area. The Good Eggs and Farmigo are online farmers markets that deliver to their home in the Bay Area.
Okay.
And so we thought, the concept would be great to bring to Chico. I personally know a lot of women that love to shop at the farmers market, but they're taking their kids to soccer practice or baseball games.
That's exactly why we can't go. Soccer.
Exactly. So this is a way they can still get the same type of local products that you would get at your local farmers market, but they can be delivered to you.
And you can order them online. You don't actually have to go
Right.
to the market.
That's right. Now, is it hard for farmers to get their foods and products into grocery stores, like local grocery stores like Holiday or something? Because I feel like sometimes we're buying things from there that are local, right? They say local.
Right, and that was kind of where this North State Producers Network started.
Okay.
What happens with a lot of the larger grocery stores is that, especially with the perishable product,
Exactly, yeah.
they want you to go through a distributorship.
Oh.
And a lot of distributors don't want to deal with us because we're too little.
Right.
So you get kind of caught in the middle there.
Right.
Yeah.
So a group of us started talking about forming our own distributorship, which took on this North State Producers Network, and it was really kind of originally modeled for a wholesale venue. But then the Farmers Market Promotional Program grant came up, and that was geared more retail. So our intention was to form a co-op.
Okay.
And all of the producers would be members of this co-op. But the grant came up and the deadline was too soon for us to get that entity established and apply for all of the DUNS numbers and all of the details to get involved with that. So Orland Farmstead Creamery went ahead and applied for that grant.
Okay.
So that's how it kind of morphed into being a division of Orland Farmstead
And
Creamery.
how many people, how many farmers do you and producers do you have as part of your network?
Right now there are about 15 probably.
Wow.
We just added some produce. Now that the produce is starting to come into season. We have, I never pronounce it right, Llano Seco.
Okay.
Pork.
Sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Their pork and their dried beans.
Wow.
We have Nickel Farms has eggs, microgreens. She just put her squash on. We've got some beef coming on. We've got our cheese, of course, Skylake Ranch pomegranate products.
Oh yeah.
Beber almond milk.
Yeah.
So a pretty good variety.
You can get almond milk here.
It's made in Hamilton City.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay, does anybody else find this very interesting? I think it's so interesting that this is how we started out. So many years ago, we got so
Right.
far away from it that now you have to get grants to get local products to your home. I mean, I think that's just crazy.
The irony.
Right?
Does not escape
Yeah,
us all.
exactly, yeah.
So, and it doesn't come in a horse and buggy anymore.
no.
It comes in a little green bag.
In a
And
green
you
bag.
brought an example for us to see, show
Yeah.
and tell. You want to show us about
So the
this?
way people are always kind of asking, well, you know, what about these perishable products? You're going to leave them on my front door, and I'm at work all day. How am I going to, you know, make sure that they're still going to be fresh when I get home? So what we do, I use some of our cheese as an example.
Oh, good.
But what we'll do is we'll package the perishables in these little insulated bags with an ice block, and so it's going to stay cold while it's on your front porch.
Okay, we're going to do a
Yeah,
shameless
hold it up.
plug. Where's the camera? Orland Creamery Farmstead Ricotta. I call
That's
it
our
ricotta.
ricottage. It's a cheese that I made
Oh,
up.
cottage. Oh, wow.
So it's
you see
actually
it?
mild like a cottage cheese, but dry like a ricotta. So we
I'm
call
going
it
to show you the back
ricottage.
side.
I would know
Boy,
nothing about this
looks
because I can't eat cheese.
Oh.
But I do, I think ricotta is pretty cool.
So
I
it's
haven't-
nice and cold. And when did you
Yeah.
put it in here?
An hour and a
Couple
half
hours?
ago,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
And
you
so
just
then the block's
package it.
still frozen, obviously.
And that whole
Yeah,
thing
so
goes
we just
in.
stick this in here.
Sure.
And then we have, you know, different sizes. So like this one's a little bit bigger for the almond milk, and we
Yeah.
have Pacific Culture sauerkraut. Their jars are a little bit
So
bigger.
the almond milk is fresh. It's not in a packaged carton then, like
bottle,
I buy it.
glass bottle.
A glass bottle.
Oh my gosh.
Just like our old milkman.
Yeah.
Tony used to bring our milk in a glass
That
bottle.
is cute.
And it comes in this
And then
bag.
it comes in this bag, so we leave the bag on your front porch or wherever your drop-off location is, and then the following week, so it's once a week deliveries.
Right.
The following week, when you order again, you leave all of the all the packaging materials in the bag on your porch, and then we'll pick them up, reuse them, give you another
Wonderful.
set.
So it's not just thrown away. Basically, very little waste.
Exactly.
So how do you have so much, how do you have the drivers? Who drives to do all
Yeah.
that?
Well,
Oh my gosh.
today I'm the driver.
Really? Oh my goodness.
And then we have another man that works part-time, and then my partner will drive sometimes if he needs to. We've had several people call that have heard about it on the news and you know, in the articles about it, saying that they would like to drive for us. So as soon as we get it going, you know, obviously part of the grant is job creation.
I think that's
So-
amazing. I was going to ask you, what do you do with
wonderful.
the 100,000? Because so you received this grant, and did you create a website, and then, or what all did you do with your $100,000 grant?
So we developed the website.
Okay.
We've done a lot of promotional marketing kind of
Yeah.
things. You know, it paid for the supplies, for the
Yes.
packaging supplies and the screen printing. And then it'll pay for a warehouse person when we get to the point of needing a warehouse person. It's paying for ads. We're running some ads like in the Chico News and Review and different Edible Shasta, things like that. And then it's also helping to pay for the rental of the refrigerated delivery truck.
Okay. Wow.
So how would if someone wanted to access this resource, where do they get the best information? Where's the best place to go?
On Orland Farmstead Creamery's website, there's a page on our website that has a link to sign up
Okay.
for membership and to order.
Great.
So that's orlandfarmstead.com/NSPN, North
Okay.
State Producers Network. lowercase. And then from there, there's a policy page that kind of explains how it works. There's a $15, it's referred to as membership fee.
Okay.
But that's kind of a deposit to pay for the reusable bags. And then you have to order 3 days prior to your delivery date. There's different delivery routes on the schedule. We're looking for community partners to be drop-off locations. Schools, churches, nonprofits that are willing to be a drop-off location.
Okay.
We'll pay them 10% of all sales, so they can kind of do it as a fundraiser, but also kind of do it
That is
as
such a good idea.
a community building,
effort.
encouraging healthy eating in their community. If an individual wants to do it and promote it in their neighborhood, for example, they would get 20% off of any of their orders.
Wow.
So where all are you delivering now? Where are the locations you cover?
Well, we just launched the website about a month ago, so we're really kind of working out the bugs with the website and some of those things. But we deliver to the Chico Women's Center right now. We have a drop-off location up in the community of Cohasset, which is just past the airport in Chico, kind of up in the foothills. And then we're doing home delivery in Chico, Red Bluff, and Redding.
Oh,
And Redding.
Redding, Red Bluff, and Chico.
Chico, yeah. That's fantastic. So you
Well,
guys are
that's
coming
good.
all the way out here.
Yeah.
Well, we come up here to deliver cheese anyway because we sell to View 202, and there's a few places here in town that sell our cheese.
So
Kent's
perfect.
Market.
Where else do you sell your cheese? Just tell everyone where they sell it, where they can get your cheese, because I think it's good. I mean, you can
Local.
So
go ahead and plug
in
yourself.
Redding, it's Kent's
Okay.
and Tops
Okay.
Market. View 202 uses it in their restaurant. In Red Bluff, we sell at Rayleigh's. In Chico, we sell at both of the Rayleigh's. Chico Natural, S&S Produce, and then several of the restaurants in Chico use our cheese.
Do you have a storefront in Orland, or are you solely through these outlets?
Through those outlets.
So you're a wholesaler.
Yeah, we don't really have, we don't have like a little store. Usually either Paul or my partner Paul or I are around. If people drop in, we love to see visitors. We'll give them a tour.
Yeah.
But we don't have like store hours.
So how do you, I know this is going to be totally, well, not really, but, okay, how do you make your cheese, and how did you come up with Ricottage, which I think is super cute?
Our cheese is all made with pasteurized milk. We have our own cows. We're milking about 25 to 30 Holsteins. They're all grass-fed, out on pasture. Our cheese is all natural. We do pasteurize our milk. So when we milk the cows, we put it into the pasteurizing tank, pasteurize the milk just to the minimum required by law. We bring it up to 147, hold it for a half hour, and then cool it down. And then when it's the right temperature for depending on what cheese we're making, every cheese is a little bit different.
Okay.
So we add culture to it, which is bacterias. So when you pasteurize, you're killing the bad bacterias. You add culture that puts different bacterias in, generally causes the pH to drop, increase the acidity, which helps preserve the milk.
Okay, a lot of science in this.
It's
Very
all food science.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I add rennet, which is an enzyme. We use vegetable rennet. And then it coagulates. You cut the curds, you add your salt, and then you package it.
And voila! Do you ever sneak a drink of the milk coming straight from the cow?
I don't. I'm not usually outside when he's milking. I'm always in the cheese plant. Or delivering cheese.
Okay, so I want to get very clear on how people can access you, because we're wrapping up with our last minute. So the first place is your website, which is, say it again one more time.
Orland Farmstead.
Okay, so orlandfarmstead.com is the best way to get a hold of you.
/NSPN.
Right, we want them to noodle around on your website, and then while they're there, go down to the NSPN.
Yes, on the left
you can
side,
sign
you
up.
can see on the left menu,
Yeah.
it'll say North State Producers Network.
So perfect. You're going to really enjoy looking at that and experiencing the joys of our North State. And earlier when Patty Plumb was on, she neglected to mention that they also have a local veggie delivery. So you're going to want to check that out as well. As usual, Ashley Tate and myself, Christy Largent, have enjoyed sharing with you some of the best things, the most interesting people doing the most interesting things right here on the forum. We'll see you again next week.